Before we get started, I want to give a massive shout out, not to a sponsor, we're not there yet, but to a contributor, massive contributor. Look at these brand new graphics, look at the new name of the show. I've had a little creative help behind the scenes. The Ender Games has done some amazing work for me, legitimately just today. They did the new stream graphic that you may have saw if you were watching the live stream. They did this graphic that you're seeing, and you will see a new little nugget during the Game Orange Soda segment. I mean, look at this. Look at all this. Look at the text box. Look at the new text box. Look at the logo down here. The Ender Games did some outstanding work on these graphics. I will be sure to get him paid. I will leave a link to his channel in the description because he deserves to be recognized. So thank you so much to the Ender Games. And let's get into the newly formatted show, the Orange Soda After Show. Hit it. Welcome everybody to the first edition of the Orange Soda After Game Show. As always, I'm your host, Miles Smith. My God, what did we just watch? On Thursday Night Football, the Denver Broncos put together one of the worst games I have ever seen offensively, and it took a myriad of miracles for things to happen. J.L. Skinner blocks a punt, and what do the Broncos do? They go backwards 2 yards, and they kick a fucking field goal. What else do they do? Nothing all game. Bo Nix gets a nice little passing touchdown to Troy Franklin on the one offensive drive besides the last one of the game where it looked like they had any sort of fucking function. My God, I'm a little pissed after this. There were some very questionable play calls. I ranted about it during the stream, and if you want to see the streams, you got to subscribe, turn on notifications, and of course, if you want to help me out, like the video. Certainly helps me out in the algorithm. And yeah, man, very, very ugly win offensively, but I'm going to take a Jake Plummer approach here. Shout out to Jake Plummer in the Cold Tub with his podcast. I love listening to that. I think you will as well. Jake Plummer, there are no ugly wins, and you know what? You know what? I agree with him. There are very, 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 very unattractive wins. This is an unattractive win, and for the Raiders, it is an ugly Thursday Night Football loss, coming off of a game where they put 39 on Jacksonville and took them to overtime. Man, they take the Broncos to the final closing seconds, and the Broncos, they come unscathed, and they keep the win streak alive by a Daniel Carlson missed 30 or 48-yard field goal. It took a lot of things to happen, as I've said. The play was sloppy tonight, but the Broncos did just barely enough to get by on this one. We're going to dive into some of the stats, and I'm going to give you some instant analysis, some takeaways, and then we'll get into my Game Orange Sodas. And let me tell you, none of them, absolutely none of them, are going to the offensive side of the ball. My God. So let's get into those stats and analysis. Coming up next on the Orange Soda After Show. As much as it's going to pain me to talk about the offense, I am contractually obligated by the football gods and my love for this fucking team to talk about them. So let's get into them. They're not pretty. Bo Nix, 16 to 28, 150 yards is all he goes for. He has a touchdown and 2 interceptions, which, granted, one of them's not his fault. And I am with Brandon Perna on this when I say that there needs to be a receiver interception stat because Bo put a throw to Troy Franklin right on the money. And Franklin drops it, spikes it into the air, and it's picked off by a Raider defender. We cannot be having that, but we'll get to Troy Franklin here in a minute. We'll get to Troy Franklin here in a second. Sutton technically gets a passing attempt, kind of in the box score, and we'll get into that play when we get to the analysis, because my fucking God, what was Sean Payton thinking? I'm a little hot tonight. It is 3rd and 1. You do not need to do a backwards pass to Courtland Sutton to try and let him throw it. J.K. Dobbins is averaging 5 yards per carry tonight. He is averaging 5 yards. It is 3rd and 1. I am a little hot. Rushing game for the Broncos did get going near the end of the game because, hey, would you look at that? We committed to the run in the 4th quarter, and it took until the 4th quarter to fucking do that, but we did, finally. J.K. Dobbins, 18 for 77, 4.3 yards a pop. He was averaging 5.1 for a good chunk of the game, and then finally the Raiders started keying in on it, but he was still able to break enough runs to get the Broncos to limp to the end of the game. Oh boy. RJ Harvey only gets 4 carries. He goes 9 yards, but he was starting to heat up a little bit there near the kind of in that third quarter. And fuck again, we'll get into that drive. We go to these receiving numbers. You got Pat Bryant, 1 for 43. He leads the team on 1 catch, and that was the catch that set the Broncos touchdown drive up, and that went to Troy Franklin, 5 for 40 with that touchdown over the middle with a Raiders defender draped all over his backside. Couple other notables, of course. Sutton, 3 for 24. Prentice gets a 13-yard catch. Evan Ingram does next to nothing, kind of again, 2 for 12 on him. Harvey gets 9 yards. I apologize, Endergame, that you have him on your fantasy team right now. Rough game from the Broncos offense. That's what we're talking about. We go look at these total numbers here, and yes, I know I got to look away from the camera. Please don't leave. I love you. Broncos do this with 220 yards of offense. 136 total passing yards. They did lose 14 due to sacks. They allow 2 sacks technically, but only one of them is on Bo Nix. 84 rushing yards at the end of the day. Barely enough, like I said, barely enough to squeeze by. 10 first downs on the entire game. They match the Raiders. Broncos go 5 for 15, and if any of you paid attention to math class, you simplify that by dividing the whole thing by 3, or by 5, my God. They go 1 for 3, essentially, on third down. No fourth down attempts. They had one where they tried to hard count and get the Raiders to jump. Didn't happen. Broncos punted. Broncos fans booed. What have you. 57 total plays, 2 sacks allowed, 7 total punts, and my God, we got to talk about Jeremy Crawshaw here in a few minutes. Because Jesus Louises, that was a bad game from Crawshaw. He rebounded later in the game. I will give him that. But, oh my God, that first half by Crawshaw was not good. 11 penalties for 78 yards, and many of them were drive killers for the Broncos, especially on offense. You had a hold by Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis had another penalty. It was a false start later in the game. So 2 just by the 41-year-old who is a veteran, who should know better. Maybe his old man bones are creaking out on a little bit. Okay. We won't delve into any old man jokes. A couple of holding penalties. Really odd offensive pass interference on Troy Franklin. That puts the Broncos back 10 yards on a drive where they were kind of moving the ball. Just sloppy game. Bad game on a short week. Whatever. This is not going to beat the Chiefs, but we will get to that in a minute. Get the rest of these. Broncos, 2 interceptions, like we said, on Bo Nix. Not completely his fault. Again, both of them, but one of them was definitely a overthrow, and I will not hear otherwise. And the fact that that is becoming a term that we have coined is a little worrying. I'm not gonna lie to you. We go into the Raiders stats now just to show you what the defense did to these Raiders. Sorry, my nose was itching. Geno, 16 of 26, 1 interception. The batted up ball to Dondre Tillman, my boy. Oh, I love you, Dondre Tillman. That's my guy right there. If you saw my Cowboys stream, you know that I had the best call of Week 8 on that Dondre Tillman interception. What have you. Kenny Pickett throws a pass. It was incomplete. Ashton Jeanty was held relatively in check, only 3.2 yards a pop, scored the only Raiders points of the game with that early touchdown in the first quarter, 19 carries, 60 yards. Trey Tucker got a 7-yard carry, Geno had 3 carries for 7, Mostert had 1 4-yard carry, and Brock Bowers got snuffed out by Nick Bonito on a play where he lost 4, where he should have lost 7, but somehow just able to flex himself around and avoid losing all of those yards. Receiving-wise, Tyler Lockett, former Seahawk, with Geno, leader, 5 for 44. Bowers held in check, 1 for 31. Whatever the game plan was there, outstanding. Trey Tucker, 2 for 28. Michael Mayer, 3 for 22. Raheem Mostert, 1 for 11, and that's about where I'll stop because nobody else did anything. For the Raiders, 2 of their guys got sacks. Number 69, nice. Adam Butler, and then Charles Snowden with a sack, and their standout player, Q Blue Kelly. That's a tongue twister. Try saying that 5 times fast. And let me know how you did in the comments section below. They played a good game. They just did not make enough plays. Well, really, it wasn't even the Raiders' defense that let them down. It was their special teams. We'll get to that. We will get to that. And I can't imagine the Raiders postcasts are going to be too happy with their special teams. Ugly, ugly loss for the Raiders on their end. Like I said, 4 for 15 on third down. They go 188 total yards. Not great for them. Only 10 first downs on their part as well. 0 for 1 on fourth down. They run 1 more play than the Bronco, allow 4 more sacks. They punt 1 more. They also have 11 accepted penalties. Those go for 83, and one of those was huge because it brought back a 32-yard run by Ashton Jeanty during, I want to say, the first half. That could have got the Raiders to 10 at the very, very least. And, of course, Geno Smith throws that interception. Those are your numbers from the game with a little bit of a little salt sprinkle of analysis daubed in there. We are going to move on to my full-on analysis and my full-on takeaways for this shit show of a win on Thursday Night Football of this conventionally very, 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 very. If you've stuck with me thus far, shout out to you. I've got the best viewer base in the National Football League, and if you want to join them, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and help me out by liking the video. Now let's get into whatever I can make out of this game. Say what you want to about the Broncos special teams during this game. They weren't always great. Crawshaw in particular was really, really rough in that first half. The Broncos special teams low-key got you the win. On a game where your offense is doing nothing, what do the special teams do? They overload the left side of the Raiders punt line, and J.L. Skinner gets in, and he doesn't just block a punt. He doesn't just get a hand in there. He blocks it with his face. That ball hits right into his face mask. Tyler Bidet able to scoop it up and get the Broncos down at the 12. And say what you want about the offense. They were in field goal range already. You take what you can get in games like this where you can't do shit. And shout out to the Raiders defense, too. The Raiders defense played an outstanding game. It was the Raiders special teams that really, really let them down. But in a game where it is this kind of low scoring, nobody can do anything because they're ineffective type of game, one play on special teams is all it takes to spark something. And for the Broncos, it was J.L. Skinner. We'll get to J.L. Skinner later because I'm so hyped about that man. I'm so happy to see him finally do something because he's been on the team for a couple of years and he just hasn't had many chances. I'm so happy for J.L. Skinner right now, okay? And we will get to him in the following segment. Don't you worry, you sweet little head about that, Sweet Pea. Don't you worry. The Broncos offense played like shit, and there is still something completely broken within the Broncos offense. A couple of timing routes that look completely off. Nix is still overthrowing people, and I don't know how to fix that with Bo Nix. I don't know if it's a footwork thing, or I don't know if he's trying to prove a point. Whatever it is, coaching needs to come in and fix it, and you don't fix it by hampering the play calling. Another issue, the Broncos, I mean, this has been the takeaway every week. The Broncos need to run the fucking ball more. J.K. Dobbins is averaging 5 pop for 90% of the game. Why aren't you running the ball more? And this was an incredibly egregious case here. 3rd and 1 in the second half. I believe it was in the second half. Nix goes into a single back set. They throw on 3rd and 1, keep in mind, they throw a backwards pass to Courtland Sutton. And Sutton gets dragged down for a loss of 4 trying to throw the ball. What are you doing, Sean? I get trying to spark something, but that's a play that you run on 1st down after a fresh set of downs after you run the ball on 3rd and 1. That was one of the most egregious play calls I have seen this season. I've been watching and calling these Broncos games all year, and that has got to be one of the most egregious play calls I have seen. That was fucking abhorrent on that play call by Sean Payton. It's 3rd and 1. It's 3rd and less than 1. Just run the fucking ball. And of course, at the end of the day, J.K. Dobbins just does get 18 totes, but why weren't those spread out more in the game? He would have converted that 3rd and 1, I'm confident. You run it to the side opposite Max Crosby, he's getting that. You follow Palcho and you follow Bowles, he's getting that. Pull Miners. Pull him. Run an inside split. I don't care. Do what you got to do on 3rd down, but don't do that. Play calling was bad. Bo Nix still looked inaccurate, which is weirdly concerning for well, not weirdly, it is concerning. He was weirdly inaccurate. He was weirdly off tonight. The Raiders did not blitz that much, which I think definitely helped them because Bo has been really good against the blitz this year. Granted, they made whatever plays they needed to when they kind of mattered, I guess. And then they finally got that drive going at the very end of the game. The Raiders defense couldn't stop them, what have you. A win is a win. Conventionally unattractive win, 10-7, whatever. Offense didn't do anything. We are going to flip this now onto its head because the fucking defense showed up and showed out. You want to talk about Sack City? Let's go look at how many Broncos had sacks, because they had 6 of them. Give me those sweet, sweet defensive numbers. Nick Bonito, 1.5. Hufanga gets a sack. Who else is in the sack club? Malcolm Roach is in the sack club. Who else? Ozarique's halfway in there. He's got his leg in the door. Zach Allen with a sack, and John Franklin Myers with another half of a sack on this ball game. This pass rush did what they needed to, and especially down Pat Surtain. I don't care that the Raiders don't have Jacoby Myers. They have Brock Bowers. The Broncos had a little bit of a rotation at corner in. Jahdae Barron looked a little shaky on Brock Bowers at times, but whoever the Broncos put on him, it was working for most of the game. Chris Abrams-Drain, no real picking on him that I need to do. He did let up like that one kind of big play to Tyler Lockett where he snuck out kind of the backfield almost, or just out of like a trip set almost, I think, on that left side. Other than that, Chris Abrams-Drain did what he needed to do. Broncos, I mean, shit, you want to talk about former 49ers? Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga have their handprints all over this game. If Greenlaw can stay healthy the rest of the way out, and he can keep playing like this, 2 former 49ers are going to be the best signings that the Broncos have made since, I'd argue, TJ Ward and Aqib Talib on defense, because my goodness gracious, they were helping shut shit down. Dondre Tillman quickly becoming one of my favorite defenders on the team with another interception on a tip ball similar to the one that Kelly was able to get off of the Troy Franklin drop. It's another similar ball where a receiver drops it. I believe whichever receiver it was, number 17, was coming out of the backfield on an angle route, hits his hands, bounces up. Dondre Tillman gets in the air like a fucking safety and says, "Give me that shit." If you need any more evidence that defense wins championships, look no further than this. This is the defense wins championship game right here. The Denver Broncos defense, I have no quarrels with. They had the one bad second drive, and then after that, nothing. Stamped out, shut out, nothing. This Denver defense is so good. And if the offense can just do enough, they don't even need to be great. If they can just do enough to not screw it up, this team can go deep in the playoffs, but this team is only going to go as far as the offense takes them. We'll touch on special teams real quick before the segment gets too long. Of course, I do have to go to bed at a decent time, and it's already almost 10 p.m., so I got to get this up quick. But whatever you feel, about the special teams, they made the impact play in this game. J.L. Skinner, in particular, made the impact play in this game with the blocked punt that, once again, let me reiterate, he blocked with his face. My God. The special teams, to say what we will about them, they made the play that won the game, despite how bad Jeremy Crawshaw was, despite Will Lutz short-footing a fucking field goal from 59 in swirling winds. I'll give him a little clemency on that, but that's about it. The special teams made the game-changing play, and it got the Broncos what would ultimately become the game-winning field goal. So, I don't know what to take away from that. I think Crawshaw just had an off game. I think Lutz was just kicking into the wind, didn't get enough leg into it, whatever you want to say. I think you wipe away everything but that blocked punt, because that changed the game. Coming up next on the Orange Soda After Show, I am going to give out my game Orange Soda's very, very limited scope tonight. But as always, we got to do it. Keep watching, and I'll see you in the next segment. If you want to join these couple of individuals that have earned themselves a game Orange Soda, well, I know how you do it. All you got to do is look below, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, helps me out on the channel. Like the video as well. While you're at it, I would greatly appreciate it. Now let's get into these game Orange Sodas. My one and only offensive player that's going to get it, and it's a little bit in conjunction, but the Broncos offensive line and J.K. Dobbins going out and ending the game. I know it wasn't always pretty. Knicks was under pressure from Max Crosby for a good chunk of the night, but when they needed to go out and run block their asses off, they did, and they made things work at, kind of that middle section of the game with Throckmorton in at right guard. Quinn Miners was in the locker room coming out of halftime with an illness. Kudos to them for being able to block out that final drive of the game, get J.K. Dobbins going to the tune of 18 carries for 77 yards. They had holes going for him all night, and they're the reason the Broncos need to run the ball more. Broncos O-line and J.K. Dobbins are going to share a six-pack of orange sodas and maybe buy a couple extra or maybe buy one extra there for Throckmorton coming in and not completely selling the bag as the backup right guard. You got to give it to him. Second one, Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga. Give it up for the former 49ers. Of course, Greenlaw hasn't seen much action this year between an injury and a suspension, but when he's been in, he's been an impact player for the Broncos. And I think I said something that was a little derogatory towards Mr. Greenlaw last week. I apologize. I went back and looked at some of that game film, and Greenlaw was everywhere in last week's victory over the Houston Texans. So apologies, Mr. Greenlaw. I wasn't familiar with your game. You were awesome tonight, stuffing runs, covering when you needed to. Great play from him and Talanoa Hufanga all over this game, all over the field. Gets a huge sack on a play where the Broncos overload the left side of the Raiders' offensive line. He just screams in from behind and gets a limping Geno Smith. Granted, Geno was a sitting duck, but come on, if you're Hufanga, you got to make that. If you're not going to pick the ball off, at least sack quarterbacks. Talanoa Hufanga did that for the Broncos. Once again, he was everywhere on the field, assisting in tackles, making tackles. Outstanding game from Talanoa Hufanga. Can't say anything better about him than that. Third one, and I have been basically deriding him for this entire fucking analysis part of the video. J.L. Skinner blocks a punt with his face and essentially hands the Broncos the victory right then and there off the Will Lutz field goal. Absolutely, that was the game-changing play that swung things just enough in the Broncos' favor in a game where it felt like nobody wanted to win this ball game. J.L. Skinner is going to walk out with a 44-ounce game orange soda. My fourth one is going to go to Dondre Tillman, man. Made a couple of nice plays in the run game for sure. Was in on a good amount of tackles, at least from what I saw. He was in there creating just some push on that defensive line. And he had an interception, and I got to yell about him getting an interception again for the second of the last 3 weeks. It makes me happy when Dondre Tillman gets an interception. Dondre, I hope you see this, and I hope you claim your game orange soda. And our fifth and final one, and I've already shouted him out at the start of the video, so again, go subscribe. But the Intergame Show, man, these graphics are awesome. And because of that, because you made the orange soda, because you made all of this, you're getting yourself a game orange soda as well. That's going to do it for the orange soda after show. I likely changed up the thumbnail style a little bit, try and kind of match the vibe we're going for around these parts. So let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on this not ugly, I'm taking the Jake Plummer approach here. This unattractive 10-7 win for the Denver Broncos. My voice is trying to give out on me. That's a little unfortunate. Like and subscribe if you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. And if you made it to this point in the video, well, you are part of the best viewer base in the National Football League. This is Miles, signing off. Sayonara.